Let me grab you! Hey, come here.
Besties, what's up? My name is Meg. Welcome back to my channel. So apparently we've reached a point on this channel where the people in my life are no longer enough to control my reading choices. Because today, my dog is choosing the next blind date with the book. I've already chosen myself. I've let my mom choose. I've let my dad choose. I had Siri choose. And honestly, some of those decisions permanently damaged my trust. So logically, the next step was turning my TBR into a full tournament bracket and handing over control to an actual animal. We have 12 books battling head to head. My dog will be deciding the winner, and by the end of this video, one book survives and becomes my next read. Which is terrifying because this dog has the decision-making skills of a raccoon in a Walmart parking lot. So let's have the tournament begin. This is how it's going to work. There is going to be one book on the left and one book on the right. And on top of each book is going to be a treat. Now, whichever book Nugget goes to first wins and moves on to the next round. So let's have the tournament begin. Our first books going head to head are a paranormal romance up against a horror thriller suspense that has a TV show adaptation. So I'm going to put the TV adaptation on my right, and I'm going to put the paranormal romance on my left. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is Nugget. Nugget is my little baby. So I'm going to put the treats down, and then I'll set her down, and whichever one she goes to first is the winner. All right, are we ready? Oh, so the paranormal romance is out. So our thriller TV show adaptation book is moving on to the next round. All right, so our next choice is a sci-fi with magical realism against a fantasy fairy tale with horror. All right, I think we should release the dog. Ooh, the sci-fi with magical realism is out, and the fantasy fairy tale with horror is in.
You're doing so good, Nugget. Up on the couch. Up on the couch.
A YA thriller slasher going up against a romantasy contemporary, but 18 plus because it's spicy. All right, I think we should release the dog. Good girl. Okay, so our spicy romantasy book is out, and our YA thriller slasher is in. Next, we have a cozy fantasy mystery going up against a romance fantasy contemporary, which is 18 plus.
Hey, come here.
All right, I think we should release the dog. Go on, go pick. All right, so our romance fantasy contemporary is out, but our cozy fantasy mystery is in.
Hey, where do you think you're going? Up on the couch.
All right, next up, we have a YA fantasy against a rags to riches tale. I think we should release the dog. Go pick. Oh, I'm actually kind of sad. I was really kind of wanting the rags to riches tale. So that's actually kind of sad for me. So we have the YA fantasy. Moving on.
Up on the couch.
We have a horror supernatural thriller going up against a romance domestic southern fiction. All right, what do you say we release the dog? All right, go pick. Oh, so our horror supernatural thriller is out. but our romanced Southern fiction is in. First book that is going head to head is the TV adaptation of a horror thriller suspense versus
A fantasy fairy tale horror.
All right, let's release the dog. Go pick. So she has dubbed the fantasy fairy tale horror a loser, but our horror thriller suspense is moving on. Next up, we have the YA thriller slasher going up against a cozy fantasy mystery. All right, what do we say we release her? All right, go pick. All right, our cozy fantasy mystery is out, but our YA thriller slasher is in. All right, lastly, we have a YA fantasy versus a romance Southern fiction. All right, Nugs, I say we release the dog. Go pick. Our YA fantasy is out, but our romance Southern fiction is in. All right, I'm gonna be honest. I don't understand how we got a three-way tie again. We had an even amount of books, so I don't understand really. That's okay. All right, so this is going to be our official winner. We have the horror thriller with the TV adaptation. We have the YA thriller slasher, or we have the romance with the Southern fiction. Okay, if I'm honest, I really don't want the YA thriller slasher. I'm really kind of wanting the TV adaptation or the Southern fiction. All right, let's release the dog. Ow! Okay, so the YA thriller slasher is out. However, so is our horror thriller with the TV adaptation. So that means our official winner is the romance with the Southern fiction. Okay, y'all, we're back in our original setting. Not gonna lie, that was a lot of work. I was sweating. I'm still sweating. Anyways, so Nugget chose the Southern fiction with the romance. So about this one is it's small town secrets buried past, sisterhood and family bonds, finding belonging and a place to call home, the power of truth, facing the past, magical realism with a Southern atmosphere. That's all that the tropes are. So I think it's about time that we open this. Okay, let's open it. I'm gonna look away so y'all can see it first. A place to land. Okay, so if I'm honest, I've never heard of this book. This is by Lauren K. Denton. So let's read what it is about. A hidden past isn't past at all. Violet Fig and her sister Trudy have lived in a quiet life in Sugar Bend, Alabama, since a night 40 years ago that stole Trudy's voice and cemented Violet's role as her sister's fierce and loyal protector. Now Trudy spends her days making sculptures from found objects and speaking through notes written on scraps of paper, while Violet runs their art shop, monitors bird activity up and down the water, and tries not to think of the one great love she gave up to keep her sister safe. 18-year-old Maya knows where everyone else belongs, but she's searching for her own place since her grandma died 7 years ago. Moving in and out of strangers' houses has left her exhausted. After seeing a flyer on a gas station window for a place called Sugar Bend, Maya chooses to follow a strange pull she feels and finds herself on the doorstep of an art shop called Two Sisters. When a boat rises to the surface of Little River in the middle of the night, the present and no longer buried past collide, and the future becomes uncertain for Maya, Violet, and Trudy. As history creeps continuously closer to the present and old secrets come to light, the sisters must decide to face the truth of what happened that night 40 years ago, or risk losing each other and what they've come to love. I've really never heard of this book, so I'm actually kind of interested. It is pretty short. Oh, and it's big font. Heck yeah. It's only 316 pages. Dude, I think we could knock this book out today. All right, let's get to reading. Okay, so far we are in A Place to Land. I'm getting to know the characters. Violet seems very overprotective. They are in their early, like, 60s, I think that's what it was, but they're older, these two sisters. While Violet runs the shop, Trudy works. Yes, they keep referencing something about how fish bones were correlating in her mind to a man. How this man was in Violet and Trudy's lives, I don't know. I'm unsure. But right now, I'm getting to know the characters. I'm getting to become familiar with everything. Trudy obviously has her work that she does that makes her feel comfortable. It's her making her art and then her then selling the art. Whereas Violet loves being a part of the nature preserve, keeping track of the birds, the migration, everything like that. I have a feeling that migration is going to be something that's a theme, perhaps, like correlating to Violet and her sister Trudy. From what it sounds like is our main perspective is through Violet. Like, Violet is our main character. We're following Violet and her day to day. We're not that far in. Literally, we're a chapter in, but these chapters are kind of long, not gonna lie. I'm excited to see where A Place to Land takes us, and who knows what'll come out of this book. Okay, so we are now that far of the way through A Place to Land. I just came across a passage of it where Violet is talking about how she was able to do a do-over at a certain point in her life if she would do the split-second decision that would keep her life the same way as it is now, or would her life be different? And she talks about wanting a person to be able to carry part of her load that she is carrying, which kind of led into a part where she had said, I want to find a place to land. I don't think she meant like a physical place. I think she meant as in like a home within a person. And she wanted that love that she so desperately required. But from what it sounds like is that she had it at one point, and in a split-second decision, she decided not to go with it. And now it's that constant what if, what if, what if. We were also introduced to a girl named Maya, who is freshly out of the system for orphaned kids. And so she was given a car and was given like $500, and she just drove south. And then she came across a flyer, like it said in the synopsis, about Sugar Bend. And now Maya has crossed paths with the sisters Trudy and Violet. However, they also have introduced another character named Tyler, who is also 18. He's graduated high school. He's working at his family business that he's eventually going to be taking over. And one day he sees Maya and their eyes lock and she freezes because I guess she had some vision of a guy that looked exactly like the boy that she saw in front of her. And so I wasn't quite sure what to really make of that. So the only thing that I can kind of think of is that somehow Violet's love story that was there is now going to transfer over to Maya and Tyler. That is my theory. I don't know if it's correct. It's just a theory. Anyways, we have now made it to part 2 called Soar, and I'm unsure how I'm liking this. I I'm not really feeling emotionally invested. I'm not feeling that magical realism that they were talking about. I don't know. I don't know how to go about it and explain it. I kind of just feel very like taken back on just, is this actually how it's supposed to be? This story is very slow. What this kind of reminds me of as far as like Trudy, because she collects things from the land and everything, and she studies birds. What it kind of, I never read the book, I'll be honest, I never read the book, but I saw the movie a couple of times, is Where the Crawdads Sing. That's what it kind of reminds me of, is how that main character was very into nature and very into birds and collecting shells and everything like that. And that's kind of who Trudy reminds me of, honestly, is the main female character in Where the Crawdads Sing. So that's kind of like where we're at, where our thoughts are at, what's going on in the book. As of right now, where we're at, we have 221 pages left for us to go. This book is dragging a little bit, and it's okay. I kind of want it to move a little bit faster. Okay, so we are now officially halfway through the book. It at least looks like halfway to me. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong, but we're close enough to halfway. Anyways, there keeps getting different perspectives of people, and while the book really talked about Maya and the sisters, the book is now introducing more characters that aren't necessarily a part of what we had thought. There's, like I said, Tyler. There's a guy named Frank who is a part of Violet's past, and another lady that I don't recognize, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. I know that it said that it was fiction, but I'm trying to like figure out if it's a book that like I'm actually liking. I wanted to really be able to like it and love it, but I don't know. I kind of feel like this might have been another dud, which would be a little sad. Okay, so we are officially that far the way through the book. We have 96 pages left of the book to go. I don't know how I feel about this book. It's very slow. I can already see Maya and Tyler are doing something together with Tyler's friends, and I can kind of already see where this is going to go. And I hate situations like that. What Maya is most likely going to endure while she's with Tyler's friends. I'm not really too sure of what else to say. It's very slow. I really don't know if fiction is like the genre for me. I liked Hello Beautiful. It was okay. This is a book that I'm just kind of pushing through. Like, it's not really holding my interest all too much. Like, I'm not like gripped to know what's gonna happen. It's definitely gonna be something a little interesting to see. Am I liking it a lot? I don't think so. I think that this is not a book for me necessarily, but it may be a book for you. All right. So we officially finished A Place to Land. I think I'm gonna give this book 3 stars. It wasn't awful, but it also wasn't quite what I would have liked. It was predictable. Like I said, it felt a lot like Where the Crawdads Sing. I definitely think that this book is decent. It's a fun little read where you read about sisters and a girl just trying to find their way throughout their time in a place in Sugar Bend, Alabama. The growth you see throughout the book between Maya and Trudy and Violet, just the growth they go through and the things that the people around them go through in order to move on with their lives is amazing, because this book represents a lot about courage and how sometimes something that can be holding you back from moving forward is fear. So I definitely think that this book is about courage and that it brings good vibes. I never really felt emotionally invested into any of the characters. Like I said, I felt kind of predictable. So I'm going to have to stick with a solid 3 stars. I have been wanting to read this blind date with a book, and now I have. And now I can check it off of my little blind date with a book list. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today's video as Nugget chose my blind date with the book. Yeah! Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you did enjoy. Do all of the YouTube things you know how to do, and I will see you in a bit. Bye!